Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Screen Time Continuum. I am Nick, and I am joined, as always, by Keilyn. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. In fact, feeling kind of goofy today, as you guys can see.
Well, happy Hump Day to everybody out there. It is another Wednesday, and that means we get into one of our favorite pop culture sort of topics, which is cinemas and movies, or cinema and movies, cinema and TV. And in this episode, we're going to discuss the season 6 of Game of Thrones because Keilyn just finished it, I believe, today. And
Right.
I think we got a lot to talk about because this seems to be, at least I think this, in my opinion, this season really ramps up. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff that kind of gets changed very quickly. So it'll be interesting to hear what you have to say about that. But before we get there, please consider giving us a follow on our YouTube channel. That would be youtube.com/screentimecontinuum. And think about maybe giving us a comment or a thumbs up. We would very much appreciate that. And other than that, Keilyn, season 6, man, what's going on? You were saying some things before we started. I wanted to get your complete review here.
The raw point of it all.
Yeah.
Listen, this season 6 thing is just a different type of a beast. I found myself rooting for Cersei Lannister. I found myself. Okay, wait. Okay. I rightfully found myself rooting for Cersei Lannister, and then I came back to my senses. Overall, this season gave me chills. It made my heart race. It made me laugh. It made me a little teary. I might have got the full range of emotions from this season, and I don't think I've gotten that from any other season. And I know a little earlier we discussed how the storyline or the source work was not there after a certain season. So like by now we're working off of fresh material, something that's fresh thought up. They did very well with that fresh material this particular season. Very well, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so too. But I think, a lot of the the showrunners knew that there were going to be main beats. After about season 5 is when they kind of strayed away from the books because there is no more books. But they talked with George R. R. Martin about the main beats that are going to happen throughout the rest of the series. And so I think the big stuff that we see in season 6 is definitely a part of the book. Right. But how they kind of fill it in is a little bit different. They have to kind of do it on their own at this point. Right. Which in season 6, to be honest, is my favorite season. There's just, it feels like they ramped up the spectacle to like 11 and everything is just crazier and more outrageous. And, like you get huge set pieces in one season. That's pretty incredible.
I mean, personally, I think this may have been the most expensive season. I'm sure if I were to look this one up on If Numbers Could Talk or just in general for fun, I am almost sure this would be the most expensive season. And one of the main reasons I say that is the use of CG, right? There were 2 major battle scenes, 3 major battle scenes.
Yeah, 3.
And multiple action scenes with the giant of the wildlings. That alone, that has to be CG, the giant. And battles that occur on water. Dragons, exposure of dragons this particular season. Yeah. Dragon action. Finally. Dragons at battle.
Finally. Yeah.
So the full scale. I think this is the first time we got to see the full scale of all 3 dragons in one frame. In fact, I just realized in one frame.
Yeah, this is the first time you see them large all together. Yeah, for sure, which is kind of cool. And then we're talking about the Battle of Meereen, where the slavers come back to Meereen and try to take over while Daenerys is away. Of course, that doesn't work out for them, but we could probably get into that. Who do you want to talk about first? Like, what character do you feel like just opening this up?
I have my list. I definitely, man, do I have my list. So, you know what? Let me let's start with one of my biggest surprises, the Hound.
Oh yeah, he's
The
back, baby.
Hound is not dead.
Nope.
And the Hound not being dead is a huge surprise. I really expected his character. It was weird. Okay, first, it makes sense he's not dead because he's the only character, like I said with John. I didn't think John was going to be gone for too long because he died with his eyes open. No one else had died with their eyes open. Sandor Clegane is the only dead person on Arya's list who no one actually saw die.
Yeah.
Usually
and we didn't see die either.
Right.
Yeah.
We didn't see die. None of the characters saw him die. There is no one to prove his death. Oh, we found the body of Sandor Clegane. That never happened. So for him to come back to be at the new set that's being built for the farms folk.
Yeah. How great was that scene?
Right. It was like he had really become a new person. He had a huge level of humility from his past life, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. He's reborn. I think this season is a lot about rebirth.
Wow,
you see that in a lot of characters being reborn this season. So yeah, Sandor definitely gets a sort of rebirth, and he's dedicated to basically helping this new sept be built in the middle of the country, which is it was beautiful.
It was really, I thought it was really cool.
Super pretty, and everybody's like chill, and it's like a little hippie commune, and he's just chopping wood. And
okay, I wasn't the only one getting hippie vibes though, right?
Oh, total hippie
vibes
for sure. They should have had a drum circle.
So here's the thing. So yeah, we'll definitely starting with the Hound. When he was there, first I'm thinking like, okay, they're gonna find out who he is, and he's not gonna be welcome. Like, how do they not know who he is? But they're gonna find out who he is, and he's not gonna be welcome. They know who he is. Some of them were scared of him. Others simply just had heard the lore of whom he was, and there was no issues. But when that group rolled up, I saw it in his eye. He was like almost upset that he knew what he was going to have to. He knew he was going to have to kill him.
Yeah,
he knew. He didn't. I don't think he expected to have to kill him for why he had to kill them, but he knew he was going to have to kill them.
Well, and it's funny too because like even the Septon, the guy, I forget his name. He was in Deadwood.
I did as well. Yeah, I remember him, the guy, but I don't.
Yeah, he's a great actor. He's a great actor. But even him, he had said that, like, he talked about his past, and he had killed a child. Right. And so it was like, I think that's why he, like the Hound kind of fell in with him, because it's like, even somebody who does something as terrible as killing a child, which the Hound has done, can perhaps find some sort of salvation. And so it was interesting to see that, but of course that can't last long because this is Game of Thrones and we're talking about the Hound. Right. We don't want to see him build a church. We want to see him screw some stuff up.
Right. And so from that point, what I didn't like, of course, the people being massacred. I actually thought it was a little crazy that he was only off in the fields or in the woods, and as he returns, the entire town's already massacred.
Yeah, they slaughtered like 30 people.
Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which let you know that they were not at a distance when they were hitting them with those arrows. They were walking up hitting people with arrows. They had to be to hit that many people with arrows.
Yeah.
And no one got away. There wasn't even a lot of noise to where he was alerted of it in any way. So that at first threw me for a loop. And then him running into the Brotherhood, right? So we already knew these were Brotherhood men. So I thought it was a bit of a relief, like, okay, they're Brotherhood mutineers, so to speak, which the Brotherhood is all mutineers, so that's a bit weird. But they're vigilantes, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And
they were taking advantage of the Brotherhood's power in the area to terrorize the villagers. Yeah,
right. So what I did like was how once the Hound and Sir Beric, and I forget the priest's name, but once Thoros, they all came to the conclusion, like, all right, wait, we're all here for a reason. He shouldn't be alive. You shouldn't be alive, and you shouldn't be here. Less knowing us coming into contact with each other this many times, and I'm a failed priest. I shouldn't be able to perform the things I'm able to do.
Yeah, yeah.
So that moment after, of course, this is after they've caught and killed everybody, and the Brotherhood is looking, they found the same guys for basically doing the same thing. So it's like, all right, wait, we have a common cause, which again is not normal for them.
Yeah.
So for them
I was just gonna say, how brutal was it when the Hound caught up with the first guys sitting at the
I
campfire?
loved it.
Dude, that was so brutal. I think
That's
that's
what he's
the one
for.
of the most brutal deaths. I mean, there's another really brutal death that I want to talk about, but we'll get there. But yeah, I just thought that was so crazy. He just
For
like
sure.
just axed them,
Yeah,
man.
hey, listen, he came down like the man he was raised to be, apparently. A
Just
cold-blooded murderer.
chop those dudes in half, man. Holy moly.
But so once they got talking, the Hound and the Brotherhood, Beric and Thoros, it was understood, and this takes us back to exactly where we just started, getting this whole season really underway, which is the theme. Everybody is there because of where they are, because of fate, because of destiny, and none of them are really in control of what they're doing and how they get there. They're there because they're supposed to be.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of like the fate of the gods and are bringing these people together, and yeah, the Brotherhood kind of tries to sell the Hound on that pitch, like, hey, maybe you have a bigger destiny outside of just being a good killer. Maybe you can do something, maybe you can do something that'll actually redeem yourself. But we don't really see the Hound after that, do we?
No, that's it. That's it.
That's it.
That's
Yeah.
that's spread between that's really later in the season. We
Right.
see him in episode like 4, and then he comes back in episode 9 is when all that happens. Episode maybe 5 to 9. And so that's really it for the Hound. And let's be clear, this ain't gonna be too long.
What's not gonna be?
This explanation on everything, because there's no use in explaining half of it. This season, as I'm going to go back to how I feel about this season really fast. When I got through a good portion of this season, I was like, wow, okay, we're about to get some crazy things going. And then we got to a different point in this season, and I was like, huh?
Right. Well,
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just facial expressions. I had no words.
Yeah. The last episode of this season really wipes the slate clean.
New series. Whole new series.
Whole new series, whole new everything. Yeah.
Matter of fact, listen, guys, after episode 10, at the end of this season, this is no longer the battle of the 5 kings that ended a while ago.
Totally new. Yeah.
The battle of any sort of kings. This is a queen's battle now. But we'll get there. You'll understand soon enough. Well, and for the record, I think that's pretty cool. But let's get there.
Yeah.
So from there, let's get on to the Hounds of Brandon Stark.
Oh, yeah. Bran. Vegetable Bran.
The vegetable Bran. Is that what we're calling him?
Yeah, only because he doesn't have a personality anymore. So that's why I call him that.
Can we just call him Raisin Bran?
Yes, Raisin Bran is good. I like that. Definitely. And he definitely acts like some older person that doesn't have any. Grape. Yeah, all right, we can talk about Bran, I guess. Yeah, go for it. Let's do it.
Okay, so let's just be clear on Bran and his demeanor, his disposition, so to speak. He is now the most knowledgeable being in the world. He knows all of history. What emotion is left once you know all of history?
I suppose, but it doesn't really. So this is my logic about it, and so this is where I get to start really. Pardon me, everyone. This is where I get to really start being nitpicky, and this is just me being nitpicky because I enjoy the series so much, and I really enjoy it. So I love it. So I'm going to criticize it a little bit. The original Three-Eyed Raven didn't not have a personality. Why did Bran not have a personality once he became the Three-Eyed Raven?
I don't think Bran had a personality before.
I guess.
His dad didn't have much. Ned didn't have much of a personality.
That's fair. Ned did not have very much of a personality.
Rob didn't have much of a personality.
Yeah, John kind of doesn't have a personality.
Rickon hardly spoke. Right.
So all the Stark men are just very basic.
With loyalty, swords,
totally,
women.
Totally.
That's it. That's it.
Pretty much.
Listen, Theon was raised by Ned Stark. He was a whore.
Yeah.
Ned Stark was a great guy. Raised some shit kids.
Fair enough.
What do
Yeah.
you want from me, man? If this
No, the
were
Stark kids are pretty boring, at least.
right,
Yeah.
if this were
Yeah,
the
I get
20,
you.
if this were the 2000s and not the what 1500, 1300, whenever we sport AD, BC, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd be losers. They'd be
Yeah.
pretentious losers. And there's
Right.
nothing
Right.
wrong with being a loser, but they'd be losers in the social aspect of it's like you don't have a personality. You are just here. Oh, you want to fight? That's why you're here?
No, but that's not even why he's there. Oh God! So the Brand
Oh,
storyline
yeah, no,
really
that's not why
bugs me.
Brandon's there. Yeah.
It really bugs me, and we'll talk about this in future episodes because unfortunately, Bran continues on, and we'll have to keep talking about him. But
Okay, wait, let's choose now. I'll make you choose now because we got
yes,
to get to him next. Bran or
okay.
Rickon? Bran or Rickon? Who should be alive at the end of the season? Bran or Rickon?
Well, Rickon didn't do anything wrong. I mean, like,
Fair.
my whole thing is that, like, so Bran becomes the three-eyed raven, and then basically he turns his back on Mira, and like his direwolf sacrificed himself or itself for him. Hodor. I mean, do we have to talk about that? Willis?
No, no, he's in the Bran story. That's why I wanted to get to Bran because Willis. Listen, first off, can someone in the ethos, if you don't have the answer to this, Nick. So, as fate would have it, Willis became Hodor because of some seizure, some epileptic moment he had that was part of prophecy.
No, it was a time. It was a time loop.
That was okay.
It was a time loop. Okay. So Willis becomes Hodor because Bran goes back in that moment and tries to wargen him in the past, and that's why he becomes Hodor. So it's like one of those time loop things where it's like, which comes first? Well, both come at the same time because Willis becomes Hodor because Bran goes into the past, and messes with Willis's brain to create Hodor.
So essentially, if Bran had never been born, Hodor never would have been Hodor. But because he was going to be born and become who, right? So right. So what I'm saying is part of fate. As fate would have it, he had to become Hodor because of a mistake that
but it was all Bran's doing basically. This is why I don't like Bran.
Jump out of the past and jump into his head regular, and that wouldn't have happened.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, but then that would have created a paradox because then that Hodor would become Willis again, I guess, right?
So see that? Okay, so this is what I thought was going to happen. Exactly what you just said. I thought he was going to somehow survive, right? And that he was going to be Willis again.
Like he have his memory or his mind like unbroken,
right? Which still the time loop thing would make sense, but it like basically would have been undoing it at that point. So it happened, and it was undone when he had to do it again. And this time,
it gets really weird when you're talking about those paradoxes. But
but so with Brandon, that's pretty much the deal.
Well, he runs into Benjen too.
Well, right. So I dislike everything until he runs into Benjen, but I dislike why Benjen's alive. What did I say? I said this I said this very clearly. I do not want to see White Walker Benjen. I said that.
You did.
How do we get exactly what that is a White Walker Benjen. You stopped him halfway through the process. That is White Walker Benjen.
Yeah. Pretty much. He's a day walker, really. He's a day walker because
Blade.
Yeah, he's Blade Benjen.
Blade Benjen.
Yeah. That would have been kind of cool. I mean, he had some katanas or something. That would be pretty sweet.
Right, but and that's the other thing is then he fights like Ghost Rider.
Yes, yeah, he has like a spinning mace that can be lit on fire. Like the least practical weapon ever. Like, why didn't he talk to like Thoros of Myr or Beric Dondarrion and get that flaming sword?
And that's the other thing is, so like, is the Lord of Light, and it's like I'm telling you, so many questions came up just with Benjen, his fighting, and the children. So the children saved Benjen.
Yes.
For what?
For what? I know, because they created the White Walkers. So
for what?
Yeah, I know.
You had the power already. If you have the power to create the White Walkers, you have the power to stop men.
Dude, I'm so happy right now because this is gonna be like the nerding out from here on out. We're gonna be totally nerding out about this show because you're gonna start seeing things that bug the crap out of you.
I told you,
and I just
I
can't wait.
saw,
I can't wait to see what it is.
I'm telling you ahead of time. We are gonna have to go back, pull these little moments like this, like the for what moments, and we can make a whole episode of just for what moment. For why?
Right.
For why? No tea, just for why.
It just Benjen, and it didn't even look like a White Walker Benjen. He just had some like stuff on his nose. He just had like some decomposition. Yeah,
like it looked like they pulled him from the wrong show. How about that?
Yeah, and I honestly don't know why the Children of the Forest would just choose him to be, because then that would mean like maybe, okay, so this is the way that they can justify it. I think the three-eyed raven told the Children of the Forest to go find Benjen to save him because he knew that Benjen was going to be the one that saves Bran in the future.
But it didn't have to be Benjen if that's the case.
I know, this is why time travel gets stupid. It didn't have to be Benjen, but I guess because he was there, then the three-eyed raven said like, "Oh, I don't know. I mean, like he must have seen it."
Maybe it's that. Maybe it's they found an adequate warrior that they caught before the White Walkers got him. They could have said that. Yeah. They did it. So that's why the Benjen thing, it just kind of ran me for a loop because, okay, Bran has become the three-eyed raven, which means he's the most powerful, knowledgeable being, essentially, which really still wasn't explained. It's not like he's not quite Professor X, but he's not great grandmother Willow either. I don't get it.
No origin story for the
right. Is he a Jedi?
Yeah.
Can he move things with his mind, or can he just jump in and out of thoughts? Because
he can't even really do that. Like he really relies on the werewood net. So he has to be near a weirwood tree in order to be able to see into the past anyway.
So he's really just raising Bran.
He's just raising Bran that can warg, and now he can touch a tree and see the past. Which is, I don't know. I mean, I guess that could be useful. But as I said, we won't get ahead of ourselves because there will be more talking about Bran in the future seasons. So.
All right, well, because Bran is about, like, I already had a lot of questions, and I thought some of them would be partially answered, and I think I'm gonna have to just not talk about Bran anymore before I get irritated.
Yeah. Amen. Honestly,
but I will say this last thing about Bran, real, because like really, I'm irritated now. But is he just bad luck, or?
Well, see. Okay, we're gonna have to have like a really long conversation once you're done with the entire series, because I have so many things I want to say about this, but it's like there are bigger implications in future seasons about what the heck is going on with Bran, and none of them are good. So you'll see. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, fine. We'll cut that. There are like
I know that's kind of a tease. Sorry, you guys. I didn't necessarily want to tease that out, but there are things that I can't say because I would spoil it for you. So
right, no, I get it. But again, with Brandon, there is very clearly so much more going on. So I get it, and and there's a few more things I was right about. There's a few more things I was right about.
Like what?
We'll get there. Not just Brandon. Okay, there's other characters that I don't want to.
Got you.
So we're on Brandon. Uncle Benjamin. God damn it! Like I like being right. But I don't like being right sometimes. I mean, everybody likes being right, you know what I mean? But
yeah, it can be kind of predictable, I guess. But yeah, even that we'll see. All right, so is that it with Bran? Bran doesn't do much else. He just kind of he escapes the White Walkers. Oh, and that was okay. So that's one thing I have to say about Bran. That whole thing was because of him. Because he decided to go into the werewood net, creeping around, and then he got touched by the White Walker right, Night King, in his dream, and that's what killed the three-eyed raven, Summer and Hodor.
Yeah, but somebody explain to me why the White Walker can do that. Okay, if that'll be explained, that's fine. If that comes up, that's fine.
It won't be. It
won't be explained. Okay, I'm turning off my camera. We're done for the
night. I know.
Gosh, like, come on.
I know. Doing? Yeah. How can you physically touch something in that astral realm. Like nobody else could, but apparently the Night King can. I don't know how
Even
that works.
the original 3-eyed Raven couldn't. They were
No, I
looking at
know.
the children. The children were in one of the dreams, and they couldn't see him.
No, exactly. So how is it that the White Walker or the Night King knew that there was an illusion being cast?
Something's going on.
I don't know.
Something's afoot,
Something
and it's not a size
fishy.
13.
Something fishy's going on.
Something's fishy.
Might just be bad writing. Maybe.
I didn't say it. Oh, wait. And because I say it every episode, and I must say it again because there are multiple times, I'm going to say it right now while I'm thinking it. Come on, guys. Just stop.
Stop it. Get help.
Oh, God, get help.
Yeah.
Please. Jesus. Anyway, if you've seen this series, you know what I'm talking about. It comes up way too often. Here we are in season 6. If you've been following us, you know what I'm talking about. We don't have to elaborate.
No, that's good. Okay, so who's next?
Next, let's get Brienne. Not much on Brienne. But I like her progression.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a lot on Brienne, but I do like her progression. She's basically, once her and Sansa were linked back up after Sansa escaped, she saved Sansa once again. And hey, listen, I told you what I was here to do. I told you I was going to follow you. I am still following you.
Yeah.
So,
she pledges herself to Sansa.
Right.
And Sansa actually accepts. Sansa accepts
Smart
this time,
girl.
which is, well, I mean, she could have done it the first time and avoided all of that heartache. So she better not turn her down this time.
And that's how I look at it is don't run from it at this point. You are definitely a need. But she's getting a lot smarter, Sansa. But right now we're talking about Brienne, not Sansa.
Yeah.
So Brienne pledges her allegiance to Sansa, goes with Sansa, make sure she gets to Castle Black, which is another story that we'll pick up in a moment. While Brienne's at Castle Black, she finds out she has a secret admirer who ain't so secret.
Yeah.
My guy Tormund is like,
yes,
sir.
The Tormund memes. Yeah, he loves himself some Brienne of Tarth, that's for sure.
And I'm not mad at him. I get it. He likes her and he wants her. He gonna only let this happen the easy way because he don't seem like the hard way type. But
no. But Tormund's a gentleman.
Definitely a gentleman. And it reminded me of all of his talks of bears. And it's like, oh, he likes the biggins. That's what that is.
Yeah, totally.
You better be able to fight back.
He's so smitten for Brienne of Tarth. It's hilarious. He's just like, that's like his immediate love as soon as he sees her.
Yes. I thought she was about to like square up and hit this dude or something.
Right.
He was really giving her the eye so hard it felt offensive.
Right. When he's biting into that chicken like across the table from her.
Locking eyes.
Yeah. That's so good. Yeah. That's much needed comedy in this very serious season for sure. And
I like that a lot of the comedy bits came from Tormund. One of the more harder, rough around the edges characters, but he was the comedy relief and very good at it. For the record, that actor right there, he was definitely able to seize that. That in fact, I want to say that the actor, Tormund's actor, Theon's actor, I didn't really buy into Theon's actor until this season, and I'm like, wow, this dude's good.
Oh, he does a great job. Yeah,
this dude's good.
Alfie Allen.
Okay, and I will continue to give her grace. The Arya character, just
Arya's got quite a story.
I just need to know what else she's working on because I know she's working on a few things. The character, I can't remember her name. The girl
Maisie Williams.
Maisie Williams. I have seen that she's in a few things coming out, and she's in a few other things that's come out recently.
Right.
Sidebar.
Yes.
So I was thinking about WandaVision moment, guys.
Oh.
I was going through watch the last episode and making and blah blah blah, and I got to thinking about the Pietro guy.
Yeah.
What's his name again? Evan Peters. Sorry. I got to thinking about Evan Peters, and I was like, I figured it out real quick. He was in all of the X-Men movies.
Mm-hmm.
So the girl that plays Sansa, all those clips that were running around, remember, I forgot, she was the Dark Phoenix.
Yeah. She plays Jean Grey. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's how they try to merge that. Anyway, sidebar. Get back to that on like one of these Saturdays. I just wanted to bring that up on air because I know everybody with the character that plays Sansa being the Dark Phoenix, it made it come full circle. Because when I was watching one episode of Game of Thrones, I was like, oh yeah, and it clicked. I don't know why, but it clicked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's why I said it during the Game of Thrones episode for those who are wondering. So Brianna Tarth.
Yeah.
And I was talking about how great the actors were. That's what took me to Theon and all of them.
Yeah.
So Brianna Tarth, I really appreciated how they grew her character. Her character not only was able to stick to her loyalty, grow on the road with Podrick, but then when she came back and she had to go on her mission that she was sent on by Lady Sansa, she had to go and end up meeting with Jamie at one point. Yeah. And she just kept it really factual with Jamie. Like, hey, I appreciate everything you did. I have a lot of faith and love for you in reality. Here's your sword. Oh, that's a gift to me. Okay, I appreciate you, but just understand that if this comes to what it is, I still fight for the Stark house.
Yeah.
And you're going against Stark Alliance.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so yeah, they basically understand each other. I think, they respect each other, and like Brienne obviously likes Jamie quite a bit, and I think Jamie likes Brienne too.
Oh yeah, more than he's supposed to. Seeing
yes, exactly, and seeing as who he is, I think he likes Brienne a lot more, and I think he respects her. And so I think like giving her a Valyrian steel sword is no small thing. Like that's a huge gift.
Yeah, I honestly think she may be the only woman he respects, aside from Catelyn Stark. And she gained the respect of the only woman he respected, Catelyn Stark, because he doesn't respect his sister. He's in love with his sister, but he doesn't respect his sister.
Yeah, maybe that's fair. Yeah, he definitely respects Brienne.
Correct.
Which, I think it's kind of nice. Their rivalry is like a, like they're kind of frenemies. Like they're not supposed to be friends, but they are. And yeah.
So and then from there, Brianna Tarth, she's out. That her and Podrick take off again.
Not much more of Brienne in this season either.
Right.
A lot of characters had very small story arcs.
Correct. I did like the moment with Pod and Bronn when they linked back up, and Bronn had him in the chokehold, like, "Hey, young Pod, aren't you a little too old to be in a squire now?" I was like, "Oh, I like the little friend." That's what I will say about this season. This season had a very large amount of affection, a large amount of open affection. I'll say it that way: of open affection, non-sexual, raw. Just, hey, I care about you as a human being.
It has more. It has more characters kind of just casually interacting with each other. So like the world is getting a bit smaller, and so the characters are kind of being pushed closer to each other.
Correct.
So you're going to start seeing more interactions with different characters that haven't interacted before, and all of that.
Definitely see that coming. So again, another quick boom, we're out of there. So that's the Hound, Brandon, and Brienne, and Uncle Benjen, who also was on my list because I was right.
Blade Benjen.
Right, Blade Benjen. Shout out to Ayla for that one.
Yeah.
So, from there, this is where it starts picking up as far as storylines, who we're talking about. Sorry about that, guys. If anybody got that bump, shoulder bump, this is not football. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's when everything else starts to get really crazy. We start picking up on everyone else we're dealing with. And I think crazy
is an understatement.
Right.
Yeah.
So from here, yes, we'll talk about somebody who has a lot to say, or somebody who actually does something. Let's talk about Arya.
All right.
I love this season for Arya. It started so rough. I really was like, oh my God, they're going to kill Arya. She's dead.
Yeah.
And this was
They should
before
have killed Arya.
they should have killed Arya, and this is before she had a bounty put on her head. I thought they were gonna kill her.
Yeah.
Just when she was going through, like, all right, you already failed the first time. Like, we're not. I didn't think they were gonna give her a second time. I thought they were gonna beat her and starve her.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I think she deserved it.
Yeah, kind of.
She definitely deserved it.
There's no okay, so there's no real reason that Arya should be alive after what happened this season. That's all I'll say about that.
There is one reason Arya should be alive. Only one.
Because it's convenient for the plot?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Nope. Because she learned what she needed to learn, and she
but
is that
did
good.
she though? Did we see her
I don't
learning?
think what
did we see? Because I didn't see her become a super awesome assassin ninja. I didn't see that.
I think she was already capable of the killing and the creeping and all of that, because she was already kind of doing a good portion of that. Mm-hmm. Even the surviving on the streets by herself for a while, for those months she survived before essentially being found by him or being snatched up or any of that, way at the beginning. So that's what I think, like when he says, the girl has many talents. I mean, he was like, the girl has had many talents. It's sad. I think that's what he meant. Like, she was naturally good at all of those things. All she had to be is confident in her ability to do them and follow through.
Yeah.
So for instance,
I get that, but I just don't think that, I don't think that we saw enough of the
actual training.
Yeah. I didn't see any training.
I see the mental training.
We saw the waif kick her ass for like 3 or 4 episodes. And then, then
one time she wins and it's a wrap. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and that's what I'm saying is, I think this was more a mental battleground for Arya.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was the physical anything that helped her. Of course, you're going to get stronger for getting beat up. You're going to get better at fighting from the more amount of fights you're in, et cetera, et cetera.
For sure. Yeah.
However, I don't think that was the purpose of her being there. It was to learn the mental fortitude that she needed. Mm-hmm. And the reason that I expected it to kind of go very similar to what it did was when she did not give up Needle. Well, what I'm trying to figure out is how she got all that extra silver and stuff at the end, but that's another discussion. But when she didn't give up Needle, I 1000 was like, oh yeah, she's not going to follow through with everything. She's going to regress. I'll say it that way. She's going to regress. Yeah,
that was her backup plan. I mean, like, and I get that.
I think that was her initial plan. I don't think there was a backup.
Well, I don't know if that's true. I mean, like, my thing is like, okay, so you're good. Why would the Faceless Men let you join their group and then murder one of their members and then go home?
Yeah, that part.
Why? Why would that ever be okay?
That's fair. That part, I have nothing to add.
As far as we know, it's only Jaqen and the waif in that place in the first place.
Yeah, we didn't see anybody else.
So you just killed 50% of the staff, and then you're not even going to take the job.
No, there was the other gentleman at one point that helped carry the body to the back. One time.
Yeah.
So there's other faceless men, but who's in the temple? I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I just think that it's silly that Jaqen could be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go send out to kill her, and then Arya ends up killing the waif and then bringing the waif's face back to the Faceless Men, and he's like, you've truly become no one now. And I'm like, wait, what? Why? Why is she no one now? Like,
and I'm thinking
she just disobeyed your order like a week ago,
right?
Like,
well, but no one doesn't follow orders.
I guess they definitely reached a little bit on that one when she was like,
mystery.
I'm Arya Stark and I'm going home. And I'm like, okay, so I get that maybe the play made her feel homesick and perhaps like nostalgic for home. That makes sense to me. But as I said, it does not make sense that the most
they would allow it.
Yeah, the most dangerous assassin guild in Westeros would allow somebody to join their ranks, learn their secrets, and then leave after killing one of their members.
Right. I can't even argue with that. That does not make sense. That probably will not make any sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless in season 8, at some point, they pop up and they come in for her head.
Right.
Her head top. Maybe that's season 10 and they just haven't put those out yet.
Yes. Future seasons, indeed. Yeah. But I do get where you're coming from. There was a lot of really fun sort of Arya stuff. I like Bravos. I like the Faceless Men Guild. I really thought it was an interesting, like, it's cool. I just would have, I would have liked Arya to have made a little more progress, or at least show us that she made more progress, because all of this, most of the time she was getting her ass kicked by the waif. Like, that's
true.
Except for that one time she hit her back.
Right. I'm like, well, what got me also was that she got stabbed, what, 3-4 times, and still was able to dive, swim, run, jump, fall, roll,
then get
hide.
stitched back up, and then jump out of a window and roll down some stairs. Yeah.
So, and that's what I mean when I'm like, there had to be something physical that she learned before, and we weren't aware of. But the mental fortitude to do any of that, all of that.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, she's tough mentally for certain.
Were you about to call her a tough cookie?
She's a tough cookie. Yeah. But she is, though. I mean, like, Arya's always been that tough character. So that I don't disbelieve. I just think that there is a logic inconsistency to having the Faceless Men just let her go like that with no repercussions.
I agree with that. And there should have been way more repercussions for that. Aside from, and my thing was, once he told the waif that she could kill, you promised me.
Oh, right. And why is she holding a grudge so hard? First of all, isn't she supposed to be like one of these assassins that has no, like?
But I think that proved the point. I think so. Here's the thing. Remember what he said about the Faceless Men. He said the Faceless Man, or the first Faceless Man, was a peasant who basically was doing it, it's just a hired assassin, so to speak, right? Needs to make money. What if, just like every other house, he and the waif are just descendants of that house?
I think that's probably possible. I think there's probably a bloodline for the Faceless Men, for sure. But then
or he is the bloodline and the waif was just another student.
Well, the waif is certainly a student per se, but she's also like the head student. Right. So, like, she's almost, I mean, like, she's an assassin. She gets to use all the faceless powers.
True.
I just think that she's kind of like the head student, whereas Jaqen would be like the headmaster, or the leader of Master Shredder. Yeah, the leader of the group. But, as I said, I just, like, it would have been cool to see Arya be a little bit more proficient at things. And then we obviously get her return to Westeros. And
yes,
you almost glance over the fact that she comes back to Westeros just man.
So is that blackface?
Blackface? Wait, did she do what? Wait, what?
Well, technically, the girl was like mixed.
Oh, yes, the servant girl. Yeah. Right.
I was trying to figure that out. I was like, is that the first black person I've seen in Westeros? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Maybe, right?
I really couldn't. I was trying not to think it, but I was like, wait, no. See, over in Essos, okay, I've seen it.
Yeah.
But I did bring it up in an earlier episode, so it made me very curious.
Yeah, I mean, that was a pretty crazy. I mean, like, that's the ultimate revenge, right? Having Walder Frey eat his sons in a pie.
Yeah. And serve the pie to everybody.
Yeah. He loved it so much. He had this. And if you remember, a couple seasons ago, there was a story about a king that had his sons fed to him, and that he loved it so much he had 2 slices of the pie. In season 6, you see Walder Frey eat the second. He's eating the second piece of pie. Yeah, so that's a nice little foreshadowing. If you go back to, I think it's like season 3 or 4, they said that.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Crazy. Oh, now I really got it. I might actually go look for that, because that.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool Easter eggs like that. Like
depending on who said it too would make it crazier.
Yeah, like in season 2, I think Littlefinger says something about how easy it is for people to die in Westeros, and he mentions all the ways that, like, he mentions being poisoned, and then he mentions sitting on their chamber pots. So he foreshadowed Joffrey and Tywin's death, because he mentions it like directly of how, like, people die every day. They get poisoned at their wedding or on their chamber pots, and that's how Joffrey.
Yeah, it's normal.
Yep. So those are nice fun little Easter eggs you can look at and rewatches.
All right, that's some good stuff. Jeez, Arya. Again, I liked all of Arya's moments, the fighting, the running, the learning, the hanging out with the Lady Crane. I thought those were very great scenes. Lady Crane seeing her ability of acting, but also being able to see through her ability of acting. Just great things I saw out of the Arya moments. And I think that's pretty much all for Arya. Well, we know her last scene is her killing Walder Frey.
Yeah.
But there's nothing really between the fight, her being let go, and then the next time we see her is with Walder Frey.
Yeah. So she's now in Westeros at the Twins.
Right.
So we assume that she's going to make it to Winterfell.
And, because she's not far at this point, and they were all kind of just right there together.
And boy, does she have some good timing, because Winterfell is back in the hands of the Starks again, right?
Isn't that grand?
Yeah.
And now, someone else I want to bring up before we move on with the rest of our main characters, Lady Mormont.
Oh, yeah.
I only dream to have a niece that cool.
Right. Yeah.
Like, she was calling people out left and right. She was keeping, hey, look, all that talking you doing is for the birds, bro. What you here for?
Yeah, she don't take no S. She don't take no S at all.
Yeah.
And I like that she was also on the battlefield. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. She didn't care about being out there. She's like, yeah, I'm 10. So
right.
I got one on my hip too. What you trying to do?
Not even Joffrey stayed on the battlefield.
Right. She was built for that. She was ready for war.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually look forward to seeing more of Lady Mormont coming around, being a part of Jon Stark's I don't want to use the word entourage, but just being a part of the fold with the Starks.
Yeah.
That's right. I called him Jon Stark. Fight.
Oh, snap.
But that's a whole nother conversation, because
right.
Things I was right about. Yeah, I have to get there. I have to explain.
Yeah.
So, from Lady Mormont, which again, I just wanted to note how cool I thought she was. Who's some other people? Let's talk about some other slightly harmless, non-overtaking discussions.
So the thing about this season is that there are the main 5 characters, and then all of the minor characters are orbiting around those characters.
Right.
So it's like you can't touch any of the rest of the characters without bringing up the main 5 characters.
All right. Well, let's get this part out the way. Rickon dies.
Ooh. Yeah.
Rickon dies tragically.
Just zigzag next time, buddy.
You took the words out of my mouth. I was about to say, I don't like how they let him get Rickied.
Right.
Ricky was running down a narrow alley. I understand why he didn't zig and zag.
Right.
Rickon was running on a huge field.
An open field. Yeah.
In a straight line.
With one archer that was trying to shoot him.
Listen, one on this side. Oh, one on this side. Oh, one directly in front of me. Oh, one I trip over. Oh, why haven't I walked, even taken 3 steps to the left or the right?
Yeah, exactly. And, just take run 10 steps to the left, 10 steps to the right, 5 steps to the left, 5 steps to the right.
Yeah, switch it up.
Switch it up, man.
1,
what
2,
are you
3.
doing?
1, 2, ooh. Yeah. Ooh. Backstep. Run for like something. He wasn't trying to stay alive.
Apparently not. Well, yeah.
And mind you, we're not even saying who, what, and when yet, but just Rickon could have definitely still been alive. We're going to knock him out of there quick. Lord Baelish. Listen, Peter Baelish is Peter Baelish. He is a cold piece of work. I really like how he understands that Robin is sadistic and twisted.
Oh, yeah.
And all Robin wants to do is see men fly through the moon door.
Oh, yeah,
He's not even at the castle, and all he's thinking about is, we gonna make him fly through the moon door?
Yeah. He's basically just Littlefinger's puppet right now.
Well, I mean, essentially, he's like a king version of the Mountain.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Robin is just basically an ineffectual sort of, child, but we definitely find out that Littlefinger is the one that has all the control in that situation, because bribe the kid and then he'll make whatever decree you want him to.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, here's a falcon. Oh, you want me to kill him for you, Uncle Peter?
Yeah, right.
What?
You want me to sanction
What?
this guy's death that's worked for my house for like his entire life?
Not even gonna make eye contact with you. Not gonna look at the fear in this dude's face. I'm just gonna keep playing with my falcon.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, the
Little
one I can't even
psychopath.
really play with because it's a deadly bird.
Right.
But anyway, yeah. So, Lord Peter Baelish. Basically, we see him go through the motions. We see him with Robin and dealing with that, being the king of the Vale, so to speak, at that moment, representative of the Vale. Then we see him with Sansa. No, excuse me. But we do see them meet at one point. That's a little later. We see him be summoned by Cersei, where she basically lets him know, "Hey, you still work for us."
Yeah.
And he lets us, the general public, know, "No, I work for me."
Yeah.
Because
He's only concerned about himself.
right,
Yeah.
he's telling people what they need to hear to stay on his side, and that's
Yeah.
well enough, right? And then so right after that, we go to who? Oh, the next time we see Baelish after he leaves Cersei is when he and Sansa meet up. They have a brief little talk, and she lets him know, like, you told me I was going to be safe with you. You told me you were going to
Yeah.
protect me, and you left me with that nut job.
Mm-hmm.
Here, let me tell you, what do you think? Then I love how she made him tell her what he thought Ramsay did to her.
Happened to her. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, ladies. Oh no, you used to be a brothel owner. I'm sure you've had many of these talks.
Yeah.
Do tell. What do you think? Like, oh, I thought that was crazy. And Sansa had an amazing season, but we'll get into that. Actually, she's probably gonna be next. But Peter Baelish just, I don't know. I don't like him. There's nothing to like about him. He's a snake. He's conniving. And to prove so, after coming to the aid of Jon and the wildlings, and after, Sansa called Peter and the Knights of the Vale behind Jon's back, but they came to their aid. They helped them out and they were saved.
Yeah.
But what I thought was crazy about the whole motion was, while they were having their discussion, he had the gall to admit to Sansa finally, like, "Oh no, I want exactly what you think I want. I want the Iron Throne and you next to me."
Ridiculous. I mean, come on, man. Read your audience. For somebody who's been the master manipulator this whole time,
Bro.
like, why are you going to tell Sansa something like that? Like,
I was like, he didn't think that was going to work.
That's pretty out of character. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, he didn't think that's how that was going to play out, did he?
Yeah, right.
There's no way.
She's going to be like, "Oh, yes, take me with you."
Take me with you.
Like, what?
Oh, Lord Peter.
You sold her off to the fucking Ramsay Bolton. Come on now. Like,
yeah, is there even a proper adjective for Ramsay other than,
I mean, the worst?
Because
I hated him so much this season. Oh my God.
Oh, Ramsay.
Man, he did such an incredible job being like the villain for this, season and last season. Like, oh my gosh, dude. He is so good at that.
Yeah, no, that again, another great actor.
Mm-hmm.
Another great actor. I almost don't want to watch anything else he's in, because that would make me feel like I might like the character that he portrayed.
Right.
But the actor, great job, sir. Great job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excuse me. So, Peter Baelish. I didn't understand why he was sitting in the corner soaking. I mean, no, excuse me. No. I 1000% understand why he was sitting in the corner soaking. I did not understand how you thought no one was going to see you sitting in the corner soaking, because you didn't get your way, little buddy. You thought you were going to rule the North. You saw people were going to be screaming your name and calling you king in the North. Come on,
yeah.
Bud.
I think it's also he's scheming, right?
Always
so
scheming.
Like he's always scheming, and so I think like at this point he's probably trying to figure out what his next angle is, regarding Sansa, and like he's gonna go you should be the warden of the North,
right? Which is what he already tried to tell her, but Sansa doesn't want to rule.
Yeah, at least at this moment.
Well, at this moment, until she realized that there's nothing but women in control now. But maybe
right.
Who knows? And well, I'll get to that in a moment. So yeah, aside from that though, Baelish is Baelish. He's a snake. He's looking for any way to slither. And I hope he dies soon.
Well, I mean, I cannot comment.
It's
So
all right. It's all
yeah.
right. Hey, listen, you know what? The way we're going lately, people die and come back anyway. So you could tell me he dies. How do I know he's staying
Yeah.
dead?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. All right. Let's get on to some of the more main characters here.
All right. So
What do we got?
him. Let's get on to who I would like to consider the man of the hour, the High Sparrow, the
Oh
cause
yeah.
of all of the commotion and the motion, so to speak.
Yeah, the High Sparrow. He's well, he definitely got blown sky high.
So the High Sparrow, basically, he goes above and beyond to torture Cersei and the Lannister name as far as he can. So much so that by a certain point, he's convinced through Marjorie, of course, he's used Marjorie to get to Tommen.
Yep.
So until he felt like he had Marjorie, and I wasn't quite sure he had Marjorie after Marjorie's meeting with Olenna, with Granny. I didn't think he had Marjorie.
Marjorie's
I was like,
playing.
okay. Yeah, I was like, all right, cool. She playing the game.
Yeah.
But nobody else could tell she was playing the game. Not even her grandmother until she slid her a note.
Right.
So where the High Sparrow is playing dirty at this point with Cersei is you got Tommen to join up with the Faith. And now the Crown and the Faith are one. And you won't even allow her near her child.
Yeah, which really just means that he is now the king, because Tommen is so moldable and doesn't have any opinion of his own. So
right. And that's exactly what was understood at that point. So Marjorie goes to try to save Loras. And that's pretty much how I have to tell it this way, huh? Because there's not a lot of storyline behind it. But this is how it goes down.
Yeah.
So Marjorie goes to the High Sparrow and feigns her conceding to try to save Loras. Is told that Loras must repent. When she goes to see Loras, Loras is broken. He's ready to just give in. He's like, hey, listen, what they need from me. If I can get out of here, it's whatever they need from me, I'll do it. Right. That's what solitary confinement is made for, right?
Pretty much. And, it'll break you.
It'll break you. And so once Loras is already broken and Marjorie realizes that she's feigned this for no reason, she still stays in character, tells her grandmother she needs to leave as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Tommen steps out on the stairs of the Sept with the High Sparrow, not allowing Cersei up there, telling the entire King's Landing and all the Seven Kingdoms that the Faith and the Crown are one and the same, that they are now united and wed, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
What I thought was so crazy was you really don't know how much power you had, do you?
Who?
Tommen.
Oh, yeah. Well, Tommen's an idiot.
He's idiot.
Geez Louise, that kid is so dumb. Oh my God.
I think it's unfair that they gave him an underbite because there's other people like I feel like that particular character was like you didn't need a good actor to play him.
Yeah,
you didn't need a good actor to play Tommen.
Yeah, poor Tommen.
Poor Tommen.
Yeah,
but you didn't need it. I mean, he was a decent actor. The guy was the young kid, but you didn't need a great actor to play Tommen. Period.
Yeah.
So I think to myself, did they give him an underbite? Like, make sure they had an actor with an underbite trying to make it look away?
No, I don't think so. Probably just a byproduct of.
I just know
how the
society
actor looks. I don't know.
I get you. I just know society has its standards and rules, and that is typically portrayed on the screen to some extent. It was something I thought about when I realized, like, wow, Tommen is not only is he not given a backbone, he's given no intellect at all.
Yeah, well, I mean, he is supposed to be like 11 years old. So
I was like 13.
No, we got to give him some credit. He's like very, very young.
I mean, if Daenerys is supposed to be 14.
Yeah, well, Daenerys in the show I think Daenerys in the show is supposed to be like 20.
Yeah, like 21, 22, I think, something like that. Just old enough, but stop it.
Yeah, anyway, we won't get into that.
Yeah, hey, just stop it. You guys know what we're talking about. So from that, where it's at the High Sparrow, Marjorie, Loras, Tommen have all fallen. Basically, they are all 1-1 with the High Sparrow. And Here's what I thought was very funny. So you have Tommen, and he doesn't show up. He's not allowed to leave his room. The zombie mountain blocks him in.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have Cersei, who's just, lollygagging, not showing up.
Getting ready.
Trying to figure out why they weren't looking for her before like 2 minutes before her trial. Now you're looking for her.
Yeah, that doesn't necessarily make a whole lot of sense.
Nope.
Doesn't. I don't know why they started without her.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, so after you go through Loris's spiel, and Loris is, I'm going to become a member, and I thought that was cheap as well of the High Sparrow to be able. Oh, really? You're going to break one of the best warriors, and then he's going to fall into your military ranks?
Yeah, and he's going to denounce all of his titles and his land and his ability to have children.
Come on,
yeah,
man.
I mean, like that's it. Just shows you that the High Sparrow is full of it too. He just wants power as well.
That's all he wants. That's all he wants. Yeah. He is very clearly getting what he wants, which is the control and the power.
Yeah, yeah.
But Loris is already bought in. But what I thought was great was how Marjorie looked around and it processed the Marjorie so quick because she has those same traits of a Cersei.
Yeah, she was looking. She was looking around the steppe, and she's like, "Oh, here, literally all of Cersei's enemies are in this one room."
In the same room. Yep.
Yeah.
All in one room. And she couldn't figure it out fast enough to know what exactly was happening. It's like, no, we need to leave. And now we find out she wasn't getting far enough.
No, of course not, because the High Sparrow is an idiot too. So
right. So, but once they blocked them in, what I thought was crazy, and this is why we really just do the High Sparrow. I didn't understand the High Sparrows not wanting anyone to leave. Like, you want them to go and get Cersei, but you don't want anybody to leave now. Like, that's crazy. Then you have cousin Lancel, idiot. Why was he chasing the kid again?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Just because he didn't like kids or something. I don't know. He saw a kid and it was like, oh, that kid's up to no good. I better go follow him through a catacomb.
You young whippersnapper? Because that's what I really
didn't understand. When I'm supposed to get the queen who's due for a trial, I'm going to go follow a child into a sewer. What?
Didn't make sense to me. It was so confusing. Yeah. It was ultra confusing. And so for the most part, what happens, as you say, he got blown sky high.
Oh yeah, everybody in there.
What I thought was crazy was I thought they used the majority, if not all, of the wildfire when they had the battle at Blackwater.
And so there's a very, very subtle reference. Cersei asks Qyburn to investigate a rumor. And Qyburn comes back and says, "You know that rumor that you wanted me to investigate?" She said, "Well, is there something, or is it nothing, or is there more?" And he says, "More, so much more."
Right.
And they're alluding to the fact, the wildfire. Yeah.
Okay, because she was even under the impression that they had used it all.
Well, and even in a couple episodes prior, when Tyrion is talking about Daenerys's father and how he kept wildfire caches, he said there are wildfire caches everywhere underneath the Sept of Baelor. They even mention that there's a cache of wildfire right underneath the Sept. Yeah,
right. I do remember them talking about how he had them cached everywhere around the Red Keep because he intended on literally blowing up the entire city.
Yeah,
I do remember that.
Yeah. So yeah, he specifically mentions the Sept of Baelor.
The Sept of Baelor. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, and
another little foreshadowing.
Right. Cersei has taken, or I always forget his name. The non-maester.
Qyburn.
So Qyburn has taken all of Varys's little
birds.
I'm gonna say little sparrows. Close enough. His little birds for the High Sparrow, little sparrow. Pun intended. So all of Varys's little birds have now become Qyburn's little birds, and I am trying to figure out what is he giving them that Varys wasn't, where they're killing, or maybe they were killing for Varys too, and we just never really were aware.
It's possible they were killing for Varys as well. But yeah, that is a little bit shocking. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a TV show where a man gets murdered by a whole bunch of children with knives.
Right. And who better than to get murdered than
Pycelle.
Pycelle, yeah, he
He's
deserved
the worst.
He
definitely deserved it. Yeah, For sure he
He
did.
was even disrespectful to the whore before he left his room.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Quiet, go away.
I'll pay you later.
He
Well, he really got
didn't
out of
plan on
that
paying
one,
her.
huh?
Yeah, he didn't plan on paying her. He didn't got to now.
Yeah.
So yeah, Cersei had that set up, 3 candles, 3 jugs leaking into the or around the candles, and the entire sept went up. There was a shockwave, like a nuclear bomb went off.
Oh yeah,
And
gigantic. Yeah.
that was crazy. And that's where I was kind of rooting for her.
Oh yeah,
That's
when
right.
she takes that sip of wine right after everything blows up and she has
Right.
that smirk on her face, it was like, damn, ice cold, man.
And the only person in that entire place I didn't want to die was Marjorie.
Same.
The rest of them,
Yeah, I didn't care about the rest of them, but Marjorie, yeah, that was a bummer. It was
yeah,
kind of
that
a
sucked.
yeah.
But if she stayed alive, then Cersei still had an enemy. And true to the storyline, Cersei was getting rid of all of her enemies.
Everybody. Yeah.
Speaking of Cersei's enemies, I didn't like how Zombie Mountain was apparently just stalking the street so he could kill people. Right?
Oh yeah, all the people talking crap about Cersei, he's just
Yeah.
murdering. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm just.
Yeah. Or how about he ripped the head and spinal cord out of that guy, out of one of those sparrows.
That was his fault. You guys challenged us.
Right.
We didn't challenge y'all. That he was more than just in doing. But just smashing people's heads just because they taking a piss after saying something about your Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah. Well,
or excuse me, your Dr. Frankenstein master, because that's not even, she didn't create him technically.
Yeah. And so basically the sept being blown up kind of wipes King's Landing clean.
Yep.
And basically the only people there now are Cersei and Qyburn and the mountain.
There was once Tommen. Tommen was not in the sept. However, after staring out at the sept for a while and realizing Marjorie and everybody else was dead, Tommen threw himself from the window, people. Tommen
straight up walked right out the window.
Like, did he just Chris Angel out of this joint?
Yeah. Yep.
Come on, man.
I like how he puts his crown away first.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I'm not going to take this with me. I'm going to go put this down.
Don't need this.
Yeah.
And my mouth was open for 3 minutes. I was
just straight up just commits suicide, right? Yeah. It's pretty
3
nuts,
minutes
man.
straight. I was out. I was lost. I was like, why did he? Tommen, no. Okay, I get it. But Tommen.
Yeah. I mean, it was very abrupt. That's for sure.
For sure. No discussion. Hey, listen.
I feel like he might have been okay in 5 years. You know what I mean? Like, he's so young. Like, if he had just waited 5 years, he would have been married to somebody else and probably had like
I was giving it 5 months and the time
even that too, of course. Yeah. Like, he would have totally found he would have totally been okay within a year. Yeah.
A young king, he definitely would have found another.
Oh yeah, easy.
So
but no, he's got to jump out of a window.
Yeah, he's got to jump out of a window. So that is where we pretty much end with the whole King's Landing thing. High Sparrow. Yeah.
Cersei's on the throne.
Cersei's on the throne.
Yep.
Jaime has returned from the siege that took place. That's a whole nother discussion. Actually, technically, Jaime wasn't a part of any siege.
Yeah, and Jaime wasn't doing much at all this season. So,
but they basically went and took back River Run, but that's a different discussion. There's nothing much that really happens. They take back River Run. Jaime and Bronn and the boys head back after letting Walder Frey know, you suck because we're tired of coming up here having to do your job for you. Either you gonna take care of what we gave you or kick rocks.
Yeah.
And then we saw what happened to Walder Frey. Arya killed him.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, let's take a brief moment into the life of Samwell Tarly.
Oh God, can we not? I'm kidding.
I'm just saying. Listen,
I do not enjoy any of Sam's story arc right now. I really don't. I don't know what it is.
Not that wonderful library.
It's all right, I guess. I don't understand how there could be that many books. I've always wondered that about large libraries like that. I'm like, how many books are there? Really? I mean, like, if you have like 20 story library going on, how many books? Really? Come on.
Are you book shaming?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, like for as few people that read in Westeros, they sure got a lot of books. Like,
Fair enough. There is no argument with that. Yeah.
you know,
Clearly only like 40 people read in all of
yeah,
Westeros.
exactly. But they have like just a giant citadel filled with books. I'm like, all
You
right,
read two
cool.
lines and you're a Meister.
I guess so. I guess so. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's
So
all I
I
had on
mean,
Sam.
yeah,
Oh no, actually
basically.
no, it's not. Sam's dad is a dick.
Oh, Sam's dad is a big jerk. Yeah, for sure.
Like, bruh, I wish he'd kill his father.
But we knew that anyways, too, right?
That's true. He had
We knew
already
the
let us know
stories
that.
about him and before, yeah.
And
So
he had already made it clear that he knew his dad would let the kid and Gilly stay because his mom wouldn't allow anything
you're
else.
right. Yeah, of course, of course.
Good
Yeah.
old
All
mom.
right. Well, that's good for Sam. Sam's gonna go
That's
become a
good for.
maester, and Gilly is still trying to learn to read.
You hate
Don't.
Sam.
I don't care about him. He's just so boring.
I get you. What was the what did the guy say? That was irregular. Sam being there was
Oh,
irregular,
highly irregular. Yeah.
highly irregular.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's gonna get highly irregular when you find out that woman and child are saying no women and kids. Yeah, they gonna stay.
Right. Right.
They
Right.
gonna be right there
Exactly.
with you.
Yeah.
Guess you
Exactly.
babysitting when you get back.
Right.
Um,
Uh, yeah. Well, that's good for Sam. Sam,
yeah.
fine. Live.
Sam,
Live your
right?
life. Be blessed. All that.
Yeah, live life. Not much on Jamie,
Nothing on Jamie.
but let's get to this Ramsay Sansa John saga.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to handle that. As I said, we're getting characters in clusters now. So it's
Yes.
like you basically can address 4 or 5 characters in one sort of synopsis.
You know, if I do Sansa John Ramsay is SJR. Remember that show?
No, I don't think so.
Sally Jesse Raphael, the TV show.
Oh yeah, yeah, totally AJ. Yep. Yeah.
I'm old. Sorry, guys. So let's start with Ramsay Snell.
Yeah.
He's not a Bolton. I don't care. Ramsay Snell. You know nothing, Ramsay Snell.
Yeah. I don't
Somebody
know.
should have told him that just once.
He was such a wimp. I'm glad he's dead.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's dead. He didn't even fight. He didn't even fight in the Battle of the Bastards.
He was afraid.
Dude, like when okay, so how awesome was that battle, by the way?
Amazing.
Like
Amazing.
it's so good. There's this one shot of John going through the battle. I don't know if you saw that, where it's
horses
just
racing around him and he's
and it's all in one.
Yeah,
it's all in one take. Like the camera doesn't cut away, dude. That shot is so good. It's so good at like portraying the hecticness of battle.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And then when John like finally comes out of that pincer move and he sees Ramsay and John's like covered in blood and mud and he looks like he just got out of hell. Oh my god, that was such a great moment. But yeah.
Well, he almost got swallowed by the sea of bodies.
Yeah. Oh, that was so chaotic,
crazy.
Man. So hectic. And isn't it interesting how that kind of parallels the imagery from Daenerys?
Yes.
Where John comes out of the sea of bodies and then it pans away and it's kind of the same shot that Daenerys had when she was being carried. Yeah. When she was being carried by all the people. Yeah.
No, I know what you mean, but it's or maybe it's just because they use the same kind of drone aerial shot for it. But it's like that's a reoccurring like rising from the ash, like when you're reborn, something went very, very wrong and you found your way out of it type of a moment. That seems to be reoccurring with those two in particular. Getting there. So what I love about the Ramsay Snow saga. Ramsay Bolton, that'll be nice for now. Ramsay Bolton. I'm not going to lie. There were things about Ramsay I liked. I liked that there is a villain who enjoyed being a villain until he turned into a weenie. But before that, he absolutely reveled in everything that was vile.
Yeah.
And you don't get that often when you're villains. You usually get your villains who have some type of sensibility. They're just mad or jealous of something. He wasn't jealous of nobody. He didn't want nothing anybody else had. Well, except
he was kind of jealous of John.
How do tell? I didn't
Well,
catch that.
when they meet each other for the first time, Ramsey talks about how, like, oh, John says we can handle this right now, you and me, and nobody has to die except for one of us. And Ramsey says, well, from the stories I hear, you're the best swordsman in the entire land, so why would I
Right.
do that? So
Oh
it's
yeah,
like
you're
he
right.
knows John's a better fighter than he is.
Right.
And that kind of pisses him off a little bit. So that's why he doesn't even try to engage John in any sort of fight.
Right. Which John does allude to later because John's like, I know he wouldn't fight me. I just wanted to piss him off. Like that's
Yeah.
really what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. Thank you for that reminder because I actually did kind of space on that. And so with that whole battle going down, I didn't like that they lost the giant, the Ramsey versus John, the battle of the bastards, essentially.
Yes. Yep.
And so because we're still on Ramsey, we haven't quite gotten the giant yet. Ramsey Snow sends his men in, and he was first off, Ramsey was very careless with his own men's lives.
Oh yeah. He shot arrows at them and all.
Yeah,
that.
he just didn't care.
No,
just sadistic.
No. Yeah, well, and just he doesn't, and that was supposed to be illustrating the two different ways of leadership, right? So Ramsey is this leader that uses his men as exposable pieces, whereas John is a leader that really values the people that fight with him and for him, and he's there on the battlefield with the people instead of being the one just telling people to go die, like Ramsey.
Right? Who just and killing them.
Yeah, and killing them.
Taking hand in killing them.
Right.
And so so Ramsey almost wins the battle. John and the fellas, at this point, John's gotten everybody he can. He's gone to every doorstep he's could. He's brung everybody to battle. Sansa has done the same on her end. As we said a little earlier, she even called in Littlefinger and the Knights of the Vale. So as soon as Ramsey was about to tear it all down and, he's just sitting back watching, thinking his guys have won. Well, here come the Knights of the Vale to help.
Yep. There's mow right through the Bolton men.
Right through them. Right through them. And the only thing we end up losing at the end of it all is the giant, which sucked. I was hoping at least one giant would live to the end of this all.
Yeah, that was pretty sad. But the giant's dead, and Ramsey's dead. I like that John was beating him to death, and then he kind of looked at Sansa and was like, this is your kill, huh?
Yep, yeah, this is yours.
Yeah.
Not he. This is yours.
Yeah.
And I love that she fed him to his own hounds.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy it. If there's anything that you guys thought Sansa Stark would not get her revenge, that she would not get her fair due, she got to watch Ramsay Bolton, after everything he did to her, get eaten alive by his own hounds that he had starved for 7 days.
Yeah.
And it was so beautiful.
Yeah, it's poetic justice, right?
And that smirk on her face was so great.
Yeah,
it was great. I was happy for her.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost like she had just got married.
Yeah. Goodbye, Ramsay. Thank you for Ramsay. Being an awesome villain and making me want you dead.
Yeah. You did your job, sir. You did your job.
Absolutely.
And other than so once Ramsay's dead, Sansa and John have their moment of, hey, what are we going to do with all of this? And John's like, well, you have the Stark name. And she's like, you're a Stark as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
They go and they have their sit down. Now, at this point, let's be honest. We already know all of the wildlings are following John. That's not a question. We know Tormund and John are like the new best friends. They're the new stepbrothers.
Yeah,
right.
Pretty much.
Sansa has the Stark last name, and most people aren't going to follow her because she's a woman. But everyone at this moment is under the impression that John has the Stark bloodline, which is the blood of Ned Stark.
Yeah.
And because of that, they are all willing to follow him. And that's why Peter Baelish was sitting in a corner sulking, because John is the new king in the North. Not king of the North. Don't get it confused. He is king
in the North. Yeah. Yeah.
And
they call him the White Wolf.
Right. The White Wolf. And what that means, essentially, I realized the difference in king of the North and king in the North. King of the North is the king of the area that we are trying to occupy. King in the North is, I got it. It's mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that I could appreciate the change in verbiage. I could appreciate the reality that John didn't really want to be the king of the North or the king in the
John
North. He
doesn't want
doesn't
to be the leader of anything.
anything. John wants to be
That's his
John.
whole story, is that he just doesn't want to lead anything, and he constantly gets elected to be a leader.
Because you're a great leader, John Smith.
Yeah, and he keeps being like, dude, seriously, stop. Like, you guys killed me, and then you brought me back just so I could lead an army of people to die.
Yes.
And now you guys want me to be the king? Come on, man.
Yeah. Hey, but you know what? Courting John and Sansa, as their dad always said, winter is coming, but officially,
It is here. Yeah, finally.
Winter is here.
I like Lady Lyanna's Lyanna Mormont's little speech to John when they all, give him the king in the North allegiance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, she said so much. I don't remember exactly what she said to John.
Yeah.
Look, if I ever have to do an audition, I might go and just repeat her dialogue. And they ask me, who was that? Oh, it's the little girl from Game of Thrones. It was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, so John is now the king in the north of Winterfell. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for Sansa and John. That's the last scene, right? That's the last scene of the series, is them proclaiming him the king in the north.
No.
Is that not the last?
No.
Last scene? No,
not even close. The last scene is actually Cersei sitting on the throne.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
That's the last scene.
Yeah.
But
right.
I skipped I skipped one part, and then I went to the John and them ending, and then there's another part with John that involves Brandon that I have to get back to, but that's actually how we're gonna end. So let's get back to, we're going to leave John, because John is still where we're at technically. Sansa is already taken care of. She's good. John's there. Baelish is soaking, and she's the only person that saw that. So I'm sure she's devising some type of plan to make sure he don't destroy this situation they got going. Excuse me. And Ramsay's gone. However, some people who are still alive. So after the bombing, let's call it what it is. After the bombing of the Sept, Olenna Tyrell, Granny Tyrell, heads on over to Dorne.
Yeah.
And she makes a pact with the Dornish.
Yes.
She makes it very clear she's not there to live long. She's there for revenge.
Mm-hmm.
You guys don't like the Lannisters. I don't like the Lannisters. And that bitch just took my whole family.
Yeah.
So here I am. And it's, well, what are you willing to do? What do you have for me? And out walks Lord Varys. And he asked her one question. How do you feel about fire and blood?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, wait. So you mean to tell me the Tyrell army is in tow now too? And the Dornish army is in tow?
Yeah.
Wow. Talking about getting across the ocean before you get across the ocean.
Yeah. Talk about amassing a giant army, Daenerys. It's almost like you're a conqueror.
Which is something she was told by one Dario Naharis.
Yep.
And so that's the end of Varys. Pretty much, Varys just had that connecting Olenna. And at the end of the series, you see him on the water with Daenerys and all of them coming across.
That's right.
Which they do finally make their voyage. They get all of their ships. Tyrion caused, in a sense, the war or the revolt in Marine, but the revolt in Marine was really just a sign of progression.
Yeah, it was the sign of the attitudes changing and the masters wanting to try to keep their control.
Yeah.
Although I think that Tyrion was kind of bullshitting Daenerys a little bit. I think he kind of spun that in his favor, where he's like, "Oh no, don't worry. This siege that's happening on your people right now, that is a tale that is a sign that progress is happening." Okay, Tyrion, cool.
Right. He definitely was the cause of a good portion of that. So I could understand why he felt the need to kind of, oh no, I gotta say the right things now.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he still did his job.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but he is good at what he is good at.
Yeah.
And so once they were able to get that, Theon and Yara, after their uncle showed up, killed their dad, and took over the Ironborn, they stole the fastest ships that they had. And they raced over to meet up with Daenerys and pledge their allegiance to her and all of their ships and everything else.
Smart move.
Very smart move. Very smart move. Long before their uncle can get there, it made it very clear that our uncle's a murderer.
Yeah, Euron's not a good guy.
Right. So it's like, so even if he comes over here, the moment he gets you pregnant and you give birth, he's gonna kill you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, don't do that. And from there is where we, Daenerys and the whole story with the battle that was going on. The Masters thought they had the upper hand. They misunderstood that they were coming to negotiate their surrender to Daenerys. The dragon shows up, and she was staring off into the abyss for a minute. It kind of seemed as if she wasn't paying attention to the Masters. And immediately I thought, oh, she's trying to summon the dragon.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens? And I saw it in the background. It was so clever the way they did that. So when you had the three Masters standing there, between Masters,
there was a bird flying in the background.
Right, there was a bird, and it was like I was like, is that a bird? That's the dragon. Yeah, and I wanted to go and rewind and pause and zoom in, but I was like, I'm not gonna do that to myself right now. I'm doing that for a follow up because I want to know, like, was that an eagle or something, like a trained eagle in the background?
Yeah, but it could have been just like maybe the bird. Even if it was a bird, it was definitely hinting at the dragons.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, boom, here goes the dragon, and that's And listen, once the dragons come on scene, we know how that's a wrap, wins that war every time, or that battle.
It's a wrap. I mean, Daenerys is so overpowered. It's so crazy.
Oh yeah, she's Goku at this point.
Yeah,
she is definitely the Goku of Game of Thrones.
Nobody stands a chance. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
And so, at that point, they win the battle. She tells Dario his job is to run Marine. Ooh. He don't like it.
Stone cold. I wouldn't like it either, to be honest with you. If I was Dario, I was Dario, I'd be like, all right, well, screw you. I'm not going to be the policeman here. I'll leave too. God, that's why I was like so many simps for Daenerys, and it's just like, come on, you guys, like, just have a little shredded decency or like pride in yourselves.
Yeah, sounds like a society we already know about.
Oh snap.
But yeah, so that's pretty much where that I enjoy the moments that happened while Daenerys was around.
Mm-hmm.
She also named Tyrion her hand to the queen.
Yeah, yes.
And I thought that was very cool. But aside from the huge plot changing moving forward, it's not really changing. The plot moving forward with Daenerys, there's not a lot of new to introduce, just that everything is moving forward finally.
She's finally getting to Westeros.
Right. The dragons are full grown. She has a fleet. She has an army. She has an army that's already over here waiting for her. And she has enough soldiers to leave behind to keep control of what she's already put in place.
What's so funny is that she didn't have to have an army at all. It's just she could have just gone over with the three dragons and literally owned everything.
Yeah, but she couldn't do it while the dragons were babies.
Yeah, but now that they're older, why does she need an army at all? She has three dragons.
Yeah, she doesn't now, but she didn't know that at first. And I think that's how she got to conqueror status, is not realizing that patience was her real weapon. Time was her real weapon, I believe. I think time was her biggest weapon. Because she had all the time.
Her biggest weapon.
Huh?
I think weapons are her biggest weapons. She's got three dragons. She's got the Unsullied. She's got the Second Son. She's got the Dothraki horde. She's got the Dornish. She's got the Tyrells. I mean, like, seriously now, like, the only person that could beat her is
nobody.
No one.
The Iron City of Bravos itself, the Iron Banks, maybe
the Iron Bank, but that's
they won't go to. Why would they go to war? They're
not going to war against dragons either, anyways. So.
True, that's true. Yeah. Oh, Daenerys, we don't do slaves. It's cool. Don't you have to come over here for us?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And the Bravosi do slaves. The Bravosi.
Please don't bring your democracy here.
Oh. La 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 la. So where was I?
No, that's pretty much it. We covered the Daenerys. She's on the boat. She's heading to Westeros.
Daenerys is headed to Westeros, and now I get to talk about something I was right about.
Okay, go for it.
But I wasn't right.
Did you find out? Did we find out?
I got it.
Okay.
I got it. We there
I
now.
missed. Okay,
Listen,
like I must have missed like 10 minutes of the last episode or
you missed the
something.
last
Because
10 minutes
yeah,
then.
right. Yeah,
Or
exactly.
yeah, you had to then.
I
That's
must have missed the last
the
10
last like
minutes.
10,
Yeah.
15. So
Yeah.
look, check it out. Check it out. Check, mic check. So listen, I had a theory, if you guys remember, that Jon Stark was a dragon. Let me remind you how my theory went, and then I will tell you what I learned. My theory was that Ned Stark, having the credit of being such an honorable man, would not have cheated on his wife unless he was under the impression he was never coming home because they were at war, and whomever he slept with would have had to be highborn because of the level of respect everyone said he had for not only himself but his wife and his name. I assumed that highborn would be Aegon Targaryen's sister of some sort, simply because he kidnapped, married, and then murdered his sister, Lyanna Stark.
Mm-hmm.
That is what I believed. I believed that Ned Stark had birthed a child with a Targaryen woman and could not leave it with the Targaryen woman because the Targaryens were being hunted. That is what I believed. Here is what I learned, and here is the truth. Because that is who I thought Jon Snow was, a Stark Targaryen. So here's the reality. Jon Snow is Jon Targaryen. Do let me explain.
Aegon Targaryen.
Aegon Targaryen's son.
No, his name is Aegon.
Oh, his name would be Aegon, so he would be Aegon Jr.
Yeah.
Okay, that
no,
part
no.
nobody
His
knows.
father's name is Rhaegar.
Right. So wait.
Rhaegar is Daenerys's brother, and Lyanna's the guy that kidnapped Lyanna.
Okay, so Rhaegar was the Mad King.
No. The Mad King was I don't even know what the.
I thought that was Aegon.
No, Rhaegar was.
No, Aegon. Aegon. I thought Aegon was the dad.
I don't remember, but I know John's name is Aegon, and
so John's real name is Aegon.
Yeah, and his father would be Rhaegar Targaryen.
Okay, so I'll change the names, but so what I came to from me thinking that he was Ned Stark's kid and Ned had relations with one of their siblings. This is what actually ends up happening. So Lyanna Stark, who was kidnapped by Rhaegar and birthed a child with Rhaegar, right?
Mm-hmm.
She is found in a bed dying by her brother, Ned Stark. And as she's dying, she whispers to Ned, basically letting him know, hey, look, I need you to take care of this kid. And you cannot tell Robert, because if you tell Robert, Robert will kill the kid, because Robert is in love with her and wanted no one else to have children by her if he could not.
Yeah.
So what the honorable Ned Stark does is he takes this child and raises this child as his own.
Yeah.
Confirming all of the honorable stuff that we said and knew about Ned Stark from day one. Here is my thing. Why not tell Keilyn? Your wife hated you, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know exactly why she wouldn't tell Cat. Wouldn't tell Cat.
Right.
Yeah, that seems like a kind of a boneheaded move.
Right. However, getting back to my original point, I knew he was a Targaryen Stark somehow. So he's technically, he has Stark blood still, so that is true. Not Ned
his mother was a Stark,
and he's a Targaryen. So all I need to find out now is he's a dragon, and I'm 100% right.
Oh well, I don't know if you're gonna find that out, but we'll see.
I don't know if that part I'm worried about now, because I thought we were gonna find that out by them trying to burn his body on the pyre and him walking out of the fire.
Oh right.
That's why I thought we were gonna find that out. So now I'm like, maybe that's not a part of the story, but I know for sure. So this would make Daenerys his auntie then.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah. They don't know each other. No, they obviously don't know about each other. But
that just threw me for a loop, because I was assuming they would be brother and sister, because that's what I really thought, that they were brother and sister. But that would be
Daenerys's brother is Jon's father. Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember she was talking about Rhaegar. Yeah, he was a nut job. He was a murderer.
No, Rhaegar was actually really nice.
Was it? But then somebody was talking about how he was a murderer and junk, right? Or no, he was just a
Well,
warrior. That
he
was
was
his
a
job.
warrior, but yeah, that was his job to be a warrior. But he was actually really nice. He
So it
loved
wasn't like
Leanna.
right. It wasn't
Yeah.
like he was going on killing rampages. He was carrying out
No,
his
no.
orders, and it looks
Yeah.
like killing rampages because that's what his job was.
Yeah, I mean, you have that in like season 3 when Barristan Selmy comes to Daenerys. They talk about Rhaegar and how he would go. Him and Barristan would
Right.
go
Would go
down
down and he would sing to
to
the
the poor
people.
areas and sing to the people, and
Yeah,
then
you're
collect
right.
money for the people. You know, so
Damn, it's
yeah, he
crazy how
wasn't.
that. I
Yeah,
didn't
he
remember
wasn't
none of that, but I
necessarily a
remembered
bad
all the
guy,
murder stories.
right? Yeah,
I didn't remember
yeah,
none of that, but I remember the murder stories. Dang.
yeah. Well, you hear that the murder stories from the Stark and Baratheon side, and
True.
obviously you would think that he's the villain because Robert Baratheon was so upset that Lyanna chose Rhaegar over him.
And we come to find out that that's all this was over. You realize, like, oh, maybe Ned Stark wasn't that honorable if you're fighting behind this nut job.
Yeah, it was all about a girl.
No,
Yeah,
it was all. Listen, bro, your best friend just wanted your sister, so you
yeah,
went and fought the guy that you, huh?
yep, yep. Fought the guy that she, went with. But the thing is that they thought Rhaegar actually did
Kidnapped her.
kidnap her. So
Right.
yeah, I
And that
mean,
was the
like,
thing when you realize like she didn't, but so I'm figuring the Targaryens and the Starks were at war, and the Baratheons and the Starks were already united through family through centuries, probably. And so I'm thinking that it was like a Romeo Juliet thing.
kind of. I mean, like
Not from what I'm
there
getting now,
wasn't
it
any.
sounds more like a Romeo Juliet type of thing.
It wasn't necessarily taboo. It was the thing is that Lyanna was promised to Robert, and Rhaegar was already with Illyria Martell, which was Oberon's sister, the
Right.
one that died,
The one that got killed, right?
the one that got killed. So Oberon's sister was Rhaegar's wife. I think they were actually like married.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, so Rhaegar kind of messed up because he was already married, and then he and Lyanna fell in love with each other.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. See, I don't know how a lot of that I missed, but like we've already said, there are a lot of sub stories that when you catch them, they're kind of like, yo.
And sometimes they're like throwaway lines that you don't think that are like, anything big, but then you like if you dig into it, then you're like, oh, okay, that's what that means. Yeah.
See, and that's what I'm saying. Like the whole John thing, I thought I had hit it right on the nose, but Stark Targaryen part I did call. I just want to know if he's a dragon now, and then I feel like I'm 100% right. But to know that Ned saved him, that is just like after I realized that, like, oh crap, you saved your daughter's kid from execution. But why not tell your wife? Like, did you think Kat was gonna?
Yeah, I don't understand that. Kat wouldn't have done anything. She would.
You know what? I don't know. She made some very clear statements about things that she wished upon Jon Snow. I don't know.
But that was only because she thought it was Ned's child.
True.
If she had said that this is Lyanna's child, this is my nephew, but we need to pretend like it's our child.
What if we find
Catelyn would have probably been like, "Oh yeah, I was pregnant." You know what I mean? Like that's my kid.
What if we find out that Catelyn hated Lyanna?
I mean, well, we won't find that out because they're both dead. So
True.
Yeah.
Which gets me again. I was thinking, oh man, Cersei needs to die, and I'm kind of not mad at her being on the throne.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, she earned it. She did what she had to do to get it. I mean, so
I want to say this about Cersei. There was something that was pointed out, right? This is why at one point I realized we started rooting for Cersei. Cersei only cut down people who were in her way. Like she was doing what she needed to do to get where she needed to be. If you just so happen to intervene or be a part of that path, you were getting it. I understand her.
We root for Cersei because we don't like the faith.
For sure that.
The church,
Well, and that's kind of what I'm getting at is you start rooting for her not just because of the fact that she was only doing things that were going towards her goal. Like they went out of their way. Like the High Sparrow was literally sitting on the steps, twiddling his thumb. Who can I irritate this week?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And when he thought he was about to go for Olenna, I was like, listen, bro. What I say last season, I thought Olenna was going to kill him anyway.
Oh, right. Yeah, you did. One last thing about Jon too, because it made me remind me of like Ned. And the last thing that Ned says to Jon is, the next time we see each other, we'll talk about your mother.
Yep. Yeah, I still remember that. That's
How
still one of
messed
those, like,
up is that, dude?
what, he got killed, what, 4 episodes after that? 3 episodes later, he was
Pretty
dead?
much, pretty much. Yeah.
I'll tell you about your mother.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which did, but now I understand why he would not tell him in the manner in which he kept asking.
Yeah, of course. Of course. There's a bigger conversation. And of course, Robert's still around. So it's like if Robert found out that John was a Targaryen, he'd still kill him. You
You're
know what
right.
I
He
mean?
was still alive at the
So,
time. Damn.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
right.
So he can't even tell John because like if John finds out, then Robert might find out and then he's dead. Yeah.
Which is why I'm thinking he didn't tell Kat, so Kat didn't confide in anyone. It just didn't get out, period.
I guess, but Cat was ride or die, man.
He's a good man. He's a good man.
But Cat was ride or die. She wouldn't have said anything. I mean, you know, like she was down for the cause. I don't understand. And it would have given her think about how much like peace of mind Catelyn would have gotten and how little shame Ned would have had to carry. Because his whole shame was his whole shame was like he had to make his wife believe that he cheated on her.
True.
And he didn't cheat on her at all. Like he was faithful the whole time.
And maybe John never needed to leave for Castle Black, but then we don't get a series.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, okay. So final sort of verdicts here. I want to hear about your favorite death and what you think might be happening.
A favorite death in this season?
There's so many great ones. There's so many great ones.
Legitimately, I don't know if I can choose.
I think my favorite, I mean, there's some really good ones. You're right. I think my favorite would have to be. Damn, that is kind of hard because you gotta like. I guess I could say the Sept, but I'm gonna say I think the best death was, Ramsay, at least for me.
Okay.
Yeah,
Ramsay would have been a little better if we saw a little more, in my opinion.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
but I did like the Ramsay death. It was due. It was due.
Yes, absolutely.
If I have to choose a favorite death, my favorite death would be the Lady Crane death. Her her dying, her being bent over the chair, the stool.
Oh yeah, that was messed up.
That was crazy. Just the aftermath of it, like whoa.
Yeah, it was crazy. Whoa. Pretty nuts. Pretty nuts. All right, what do you got? Any predictions for the next season? And you think anything's going to happen in particular?
Anything can happen, man.
Anything
when
can
I
happen.
say, I can honestly say I ended every other episode, every other season thinking, oh, okay, I have an understanding. I kind of get it. No, I am ending this episode. I have absolutely no clue. I lie. I have one theory.
Okay.
Arya, Jon, Sansa, Bran. They will not see each other this entire season.
God, man, how freaking close you might be to correct on that one. Jesus. Oh, yeah, it's gonna frustrate you.
Yeah, don't see each other this entire season. But I think I'm gonna get because it's only 8. So in season 8, I'm gonna get it's gonna all be Stark and Cersei. Not Stark Lannister, Stark Cersei. That's all it's gonna be all season 8. So they're gonna have to take season 7 to clear all that up, wrap all that up, kill a couple more people off, and decide honestly and truly who deserves to make it to the end of this story. And if I'm being honest, I don't know if Gilly's gonna make it.
Gilly?
I don't know. Yeah, you like that, huh? No, like Gilly? Yes. I don't know if Gilly's gonna make it. I don't think she's gonna die, but I don't think
she just gets written. She just gets written out,
and Sam becomes a single father.
Right.
They need to, they need to represent single dads more out there. There's a lot of absolutely men out here doing their thing.
Yeah, totally. Well, all right. Well, we'll see. We'll have to wait till our next conversation about Game of Thrones. But thank you so much, you guys, for listening. We really hope that you enjoyed this episode. We had a great time talking about it and complaining and picking it apart, and that's always fun. And when you love something, you like to talk about it. So we hope that you enjoyed it as well. We hope that you're having a wonderful Wednesday evening, and please consider leaving us a comment. Consider subscribing to us on YouTube. leaving us a thumbs up, any constructive criticism that you might have for us, anything you want us to cover in the future. We're more than happy to take suggestions. If you want to check out what Keilyn does on his solo project, If Numbers Could Talk, that is on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Please go check that out. If you want to check out what I do on my solo project, it's not really solo because I work with a team. It's Exofathom on Monday and Friday at 8 p.m. Please go check that out if you feel inclined. Other than that, we just really appreciate you watching this video, and we hope that we're making good content for you guys. And please stay tuned, because this weekend we are going to be back with a Falcon and Winter Soldier.
That's right.
Is that what we're doing?
Right. Oh yeah, bromance exclusive.
Yeah. There we go. We'll be doing a Falcon and Winter Soldier review for the first episode this weekend. Stay on the lookout for that. And yeah, for Screen Time Continuum, I'm Nick.
And I'm Keilyn.
Have a great night, everyone.
Appreciate it, guys.